A very warm welcome to my kitchen again. It's been a little while since we've been in here together, and to be honest, we're upside down and in the middle of all kind of things, and that's what puts me off videoing, because I think, well, who wants to see that? Well, the reality is I think most people are upside down at some point in their lives, so let's just go with it and see how it turns out. I've not posted on the cost of living for a couple of weeks, if not longer, to be honest. I can't remember, really, because I've been focusing more on the gardening side of things, and I wanted to talk to you today about a lot of the thoughts and different things that have been going on that have led me to thinking, as I do at this time of the year, well, a couple of times a year, to be honest, I go through these thought processes of to do with shopping in the supermarket, self-reliance, you know, organic food, nutrition, health, all of that stuff. And this year it's a little bit different, really, because I'm wanting to focus on health as the key goal for me and for my family for this year. So we'll get into that just now, but really I just wanted to have a catch up, see how everyone's doing. The dog is scratching the bed at the moment, so apologies for that. And look, this looks like it's absolutely lovely out there. It's not, it's raining. Can't be deceiving. At the moment, we are literally, Stephen has oiled the tops in the kitchen. So that's why I've got nothing on these tops whatsoever. They don't normally look so clean and so empty, so clutter free. They're a little bit shiny because they've still got the oil soaking into them. So until that's finished, I won't be having anything on the tops, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to video, because I've literally got stuff all over the place. Look at the dresser is just rammed with all kinds of flowers. Over here, let's go down, you know, we've got washing up liquid, frying pans, flowers, the Ninja. It's just, everything's everywhere, but that is the reality of what's happening at the moment. We are also decorating 2 bedrooms upstairs. So we've got 2 children and we've decorated one. To cut a long story short, we ended up decorating the other one as well. So we're in the middle of doing that, and we're at that stage, you know, and the house just feels completely upside down, and nothing you're doing is, you're just treading through treacle, or, you know, you feel as though you're doing absolutely loads but getting nowhere. That's how I feel right at the moment. Anyway, I just thought it was worth a bit of 5 minutes to check in with everyone. So goodness knows how long this video will end up, but that was the purpose. I had a shopping delivery last night. Yes, a delivery. What happened to Aldi, everybody? What happened to £25 a week? That's what I want to talk to you about as well. So I'm going to show you one more thing, which has just caught my eye, because the other thing I'm struggling with right now, especially with this weather and how cold it is, obviously it's winter, is getting all the clothes dry in the house. It's, you know, we had a tumble dryer, and I did try and stop using it, but I found myself, I kept going back to it. And eventually it actually broke, which was a blessing from an electric point of view, the cost of the electricity. But it means that I do struggle trying to get everything dry. I think I've got an abundance of washing at the moment. With us doing the kids' bedrooms out, we found washing in every nook and cranny and this, that and the other. But also just things that we wanting to get rid of, because we've gone through the wardrobes and clothes that they don't fit anymore, want to wash them and give them away to charity. If it's something that we can make a few pennies on, we're going to do that as well. If there's somebody that's really needy that would benefit from them, we're just going to give them away. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I'm going through all sorts really from that perspective at the minute. The house is going through an overhaul, or it feels like it, even if it's not all happening, and just knee deep or shoulder deep in clothes that need washing and just will not dry at the moment. So this is the Aga. Let me show you it now. So this is the dog that was making the noise. He's fast asleep now. So here's the Aga. So this, for those of you that don't know, the Aga is always on. So it's always hot when it's on. It's not something that you switch off and switch on. It'll go off after the Easter holidays. That's my plan anyway, unless she tends to have a mind of her own sometimes and just go off herself. You can tell she's well used, well loved, my favourite piece of the house. Anyway, at the moment she's drying the clothes. This is the hot plate, so it's not something that I would recommend leaving unattended by any means. I don't. It's just I'm here in the kitchen at the moment, so just literally we've got all of the socks and pants and all those little things at the back. Just keep turning them over and they'll end up drying quite quickly. And this is what the best method I've got for drying, but obviously as you can see there's not that much space. And the other thing I'm doing is just hanging the kids' school shirts over handles and things, and any hooks that I can find are getting things hung over them to dry. Now obviously when the heating's on, that things can go over the radiators as well, or when we've got the fire on overnight, things can go over the radiators. But I have to be honest, it is a pain drying things inside in the winter when you haven't got a tumble dryer. So that is a new one on me, because this is the first winter that we've gone through in its entirety without a tumble dryer. So if you've got any other tips, people say dehumidifiers. I've looked at them and they're super expensive for the size that I believe we would need. So I'm keeping an eye out on Marketplace for those. And the other things are the plug-in electric, what they call the drying racks. But again, expensive to buy and expensive to run. But yeah, struggling with drying clothes at the moment. And I think when it all comes together, it's one of the things that you just start thinking, what can I do to make improvements? Anyway, that's one thing. Next place in the pantry. I went to our local town on Saturday with Stephen and we nipped into the greengrocers and we bought 1 red cabbage, 2 medium broccoli calabrese heads and 5 tomatoes, and that came to £7.60 odd. Now this is by no way a reflection of our greengrocers. They are amazing, their produce is fantastic. I'm talking about the cost, and that's the next thing that's on my mind at the moment, is essentially how are people coping? You know, I need to get my backside into gear and get more things grown this year than we did last year, and I'm busy working on that. But in the interim, we don't have a lot of things coming out of the garden, so I'm as reliant on other options as the next person. Now, something that I do think about a lot is reducing my reliance on supermarkets, but the reality is, just like not being off-grid is an option for us, supermarkets or never going to a supermarket again is just not going to be an option for us. As much as I don't like it, we will be reliant on them for some things, and they do have a place. I'm not saying that they shouldn't exist. It's just a constant battle that I've got, that these guys are just so big and so powerful. And you hear these different things on the news, that they're not giving the farmers the fair deal, you know, that they're undercutting people, that they're making businesses close, and it makes you think, well, I don't want to be a part of that. But the reality is, you have to be, for most people. I don't want to make a sweeping statement and then people tell me it's not true. The reality is for us, because I can say that it is true, that we won't be able to not be a part of that. And that's where I end up going down a rabbit hole. So what are the other options? We can go to our greengrocers, which we did. I don't think that either I wouldn't be able to afford to buy all of my fruit and veg in the greengrocers, or I'd have to make a drastic change. And even if we to be able to reduce what we're buying so that we didn't spend as much, and even if we can afford it, I'm not sure that I would want to spend that much. But then that again makes me think, well, should I be looking at reducing my food budget as drastically as I have, when food is the most important thing that we can do for our bodies? So when I've talked about gut health and all of that good stuff before, you know, other things that you can scrimp on, but surely food isn't one of them, because that's what sustains us. And again, just while we're waiting for everything to come from the garden, but even when we are getting everything from the garden and it's producing bountiful amounts, I'm not going to grow bananas, I'm not going to grow all of tropical fruits, and we're not going to be able to grow everything that we eat now. So that then means, well, would you want to change your diet? And that's not, you know, out of the realms of possibilities. And also, would you be able to grow enough or forage enough to sustain you for all year round for fruit, for example? Veggies, yes, I probably could. Fruit is a different one. I plan on trying to do that this year, just for future reference. So these are all the kind of thoughts that I've been having and battling with at the moment around where to get my food from, what to get. And part of me thinks, well, if food's going to cost so much, that's a good thing in a way, because it means people will be more careful with it and there might be less waste in the world. But then who wants to pay more and not have that money in your pocket? And, you know, it just leads me down a complete rabbit hole. Really not wanting this video to sound miserable and unhappy. That's not the case at all. It's just lots of thoughts and lots of things that I'd like to be able to put a bit of structure behind, make a few decisions on. And whilst we're in the pantry, let's have a little look around. So up here, I have made some headway with the different dried ingredients that we've got. We still have an absolute ton here. And believe it or not, we've made headway here as well. We have had a few new things introduced. So I've got some spelt wholemeal flour, because there's the plain sort of completely white flours are going out. I'm trying to reintroduce or introduce wholemeal style things. I've been working through the pearl barley. I think it might be reproducing when we close the door. Same for the pinto beans. And the sugar, I'm not in a massive rush to get through the sugar because it's not going to be that good for us, but I am working through it with different things we've got there. We've just had a stock up. The shopping that I told you that came yesterday. We've got some lemons because I'm starting to have this new drink that I told you guys about. Lots of fruit in there. There are some bananas that we are going to make a banana bread with because they were a little bit unloved and went a little bit far. I really enjoy bananas like that. I have them in my banana pancakes. The tomatoes that we talked about. This was a cabbage from Tesco, but this was the cabbage from the grocers. All the other bits and pieces, look at this, what a mistake. I ordered what I thought was a small amount of ginger. All of this here is ginger. Just as well, I'm going to have got a good use for it. I'm having that as part of the herbal tonic that I'm making. I'll show you that actually. Won't be this video because I'm waiting for some fresh turmeric root or turmeric root to use, but I will show you that when it happens. I've got some sweet potatoes, onions and other bits and pieces in there as well. Now on here I've made way for a couple of my pots because we've got through a lot of the tins and the jars. We've got a few things left. Some of them we haven't touched, like the carnation, the caramel. Again, we don't want to be having too much sweet and stuff that's not great for us, and they will last a lifetime. We've got a couple of bottles of booze still from Christmas. I'm still not drinking at the moment, but I am having lemonade. This is just the bottle section. Tortellini is a lifesaver. I have this, make a soup with this. I've done a separate video on it, I think. Really enjoyed that, so that's a lifesaver. These have been gifted to us over Christmas and different birthdays and things like that, so all of that is looking quite well. I'm pleased with it, to be honest. We've still got the extra, oh, I've got down to just that much rice. That's the white basmati rice left, so we've been working our way through that. And these are just the remainder of the dry ingredients and the kids' packed lunch, the packed lunch breads there. So I'm pleased that we are getting through it, just not getting through the dried ingredients as quickly. I'm getting through the red lentils because I'm doing a soup with those, but we're not getting through the rest as quickly as I wanted to. Now, incidentally, these are organic porridge oats from Aldi. When I went the other week, they didn't have any of the normal porridge oats that we'd been getting, and I'm so pleased that I had to get these because they are so nice. More expensive, of course, but really, really nice. I'm enjoying those. And the other thing down here, these are the kids' treats. So we actually bought proper Cocoa Pops that were on offer, and we've got bran flakes. They're not treats, these are treats. And I have got enough tea still to sink a ship. So I am working my way through this, and to be honest, we've just run out of coffee, and I'm thinking, should I just go onto tea only? But I do like a good coffee in the morning. We'll see. Anyway, there's more tea at the back there as well, so we have plenty of tea. If you need to pop around for a cuppa, feel free. Now, the other thing that is an option is getting a veg box delivered. So I did go on to Riverford after I'd been and got that veg from the local greengrocers. I went onto the Riverford website, which is an organic grower if you're not familiar with them, and had to look how much it would have cost to get them to get the same items from there, and it would have been more expensive. I just cannot believe the cost. I genuinely can't. I've shopped in Aldi for forever, as you guys know. I just can't believe the cost of some of the things, how much they're going up, and they didn't cost this before. I know the tomato crisis at the moment is bumping the cost of the tomatoes up, but I was really, really genuinely shocked to the point where I wanted to talk to you about it. The washing machine's finished now. It was a little bit noisy there for a minute, sorry about that. So it's interesting that in the news we're hearing that the tomato crisis that I've just alluded to, and peppers and cucumbers and things, is predominantly as a result of weather. And I'm calling BS, to be honest. I don't believe it. Yes, there is some, but I follow people, a few of you who comment on here actually, who are in the countries that are supposedly having this freak weather. And it's, from what I can understand, just like us in the UK, yes, it's freak weather in terms of, you know, we'll have a storm that's, wow, that was unexpected. Or last year we had really hot temperatures, which was unexpected. But it's still, you know, it's only since the last time it happened. It's not the first time it's ever happened. And I think really, so my point being there that these guys maybe are more equipped to deal with the weather that we're blaming the shortages on. And it's more around the fact that the UK are just very difficult to deal with. since Brexit. And I don't know if YouTube will pick up on that. I've said that B word and will discourage the viewing of this video, because apparently that's what happened, and that happens, and that's why people talk in code about stuff. But anyway, I've said it. So I don't know, there's just so much going on, and it's just it's a lot to process. And I just think now more than ever is a really important time for those people that can to try and grow something, grow your own, what you enjoy. You know, if it's something that can be grown here in the UK, such as tomatoes, and you can grow peppers and cucumbers, and we can support ourselves and have a self-sufficient diet, fine, not the bananas and things that I was joking about, but what we can grow can be fully sustaining for us. And I just think that it's time that people who can should, and for people who can't, we club together and we work together, and somehow we go back to the way of community feelings and supporting ourselves, self-reliance, helping each other out. You know, what I could do for you, you could do something else for me, and all of those things. And, you know, I know it's in an ideal world, and we don't always live, if at all, in an ideal world. And the other thing that's on people's mind, just jumping topic slightly, is that in April here, certainly where I am in England, we are stopping the what's it called, the energy support scheme or whatever that everybody's entitled to, regardless of your situation. So we've actually just received £200, which we are very grateful for, because we are on oil, and apparently it's the alternative fuel payment. So super pleased about that. That's gone straight into the oil piggy bank, which we'll be using to top up with oil as soon. Well, the prices are coming down. So we paid £900 odd for 1,000 litres whenever it was, and not too long ago, just before the winter, and it's now about 700. So it's definitely worth looking at getting if we can do that. But anyway, what I was saying, in April that scheme is stopping. I know Martin Lewis is doing some work on that to try and help people out still, but essentially, as our bills are going up across the board, that extra support will be stopping come April. And when the food prices and inflation still going up, that's really going to hit hard for a lot of people. And I honestly do believe that we're getting to the stage where growing your own will be cheaper, because I was laughing previously, it's never been cheaper. You know, it's you can pay a fortune for it. But I do think we're getting to the stage where it could be done more cheaply than it is to going to be, that it could be done more cheaply than to buy. I don't know. So that has led me into nicely, where am I at here on the small holding? Sorry for the angle, my arm's aching from holding it up and I haven't got my tripod set up. So I went freezer diving, shopping on the other day, whenever it was, Saturday, and pulled out all kinds of meat, and didn't really sort of plan, I want this, this and this. I just went in and pulled out what looked like should be used first, or that I fancied when I was in there. So I got all kinds of things out of there, and I've had a little look in the pantry. I've just been in with you guys as well and showed you that. And then what I've done is just pulled some meals together, like I've shown you before, based on what I've got out of the freezers and what I've got in the pantry. Although I do want to add some more from the pantry, because I've got beans and the barley and things like that I haven't included just yet. Anyway, so essentially we are looking at, where are we? I've just pulled a list of meals together. These are in no particular order. We've got diced turkey, so I'm doing a chicken tetrazzini, which is using up the diced turkey, and that calls for, what does that call for? Cheese spread, like Philadelphia or the, you know, Aldi's equivalent we normally get. But what I'm going to do there, I've got kefir that I can make, or kefir that I can make soft cheese from, and I've got frozen spinach, so I haven't got fresh spinach to put in there. So that's going to use up a couple of things that I've got. Minted lamb hot pot, as you guys know, we've got lots of lamb, and I went through the potatoes that we've harvested last year, and I went through and checked them for any rotten ones and picked out the good from the bad at the weekend, and we've got a load of potatoes there that I can use on top of the hot pot, so that's fantastic. I found some chicken pie fillings, so leftover chicken pie fillings, and I've got some short crust pastry in the fridge, which I'm going to use to make the kids a chicken pie. And on that night we'll have belly pork slices, or pork belly slices, which Stephen and I really enjoy, but the kids not so much. So that's 2 meals on one night, but I'm fine with that. The chicken pie will come together in seconds. Incidentally, I've got the short crust pastry, has been in the fridge for ages. It'll be well past its date, I've used pastry well past its date a lot. As long as it doesn't look grey in a funny colour or smell funny, it'll be perfectly fine for me. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm going to do some honey and mustard pork chops. Then we're going to have a night, probably Friday actually, will be ribs and wings. Again, we've got all sorts of bits and pieces in the freezer, so we'll have a ribs and wings night, mostly for Steve. Might do some loaded fries using those potatoes from stores. We'll have one night where we do a soup and pudding, so that can be a super cheap and frugal night. That'll be chicken soup, and a pudding will be behind me up here. I've got some rhubarb from last year. The rhubarb is starting to come through this year. That will be something that I try and have enough of for all year round breakfasts, but I'll come to that again in a minute. Chicken soup probably, and a pudding night. So I've got noodles there, and I've got custard as well in the pantry to go with the rhubarb, so that'll be perfect. And a vegetarian option, sweet potato chili instead of chili con carne as you would know it. So sweet potato chili. I will be adding in, even though it's vegetarian, pork mince, just because we've got some and we've got so much meat to get through. I would have it vegetarian if it was just me. I absolutely love it. And then for breakfasts, we've got all kinds of different things. Eggs are just really doing really well. Eggs are doing really well at the moment. The girls are back at laying, and that's ducks and chicken. So we've got the sausage and bacon usual. We've got lots of eggs, as I say. We've got the toast. I've got some bananas there that need using that you guys saw. I'm going to do a banana bread, whatever it's called, and banana pancakes. We're going to do soft-boiled eggs for breakfast. We'll have one morning of the cereals that you saw, and then essentially just rotate. I'll also have porridge using the organic oats that you saw, because I really like that. And this week I'd like to try and get to make some yogurt, which I've talked about forever, and some flapjacks as snacks. Might start doing some hard-boiled eggs as snacks. Now, apparently, not apparently, it's true. The older the eggs are, as long as they're not off, the better they are for hard boiling, because the shells peel off easier. And then we've got all kinds of fruit. I did buy in the Tesco haul, I got some Kit Kats. Were they on offer? No, I think I just got 10, the exact amount I need for the packed lunches. So the kids are taking those. I've got a load of sausage meat in the freezers that I might just do some short crust pastry with and just make sausage rolls for at least my son to take it. My daughter's not too fussed on those. It's typical, we always find out one likes one thing and not the other. Anyway, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 7 meals. That's going to get us through the next week. Using plenty of things from the freezer, some things from the pantry, and I'll be certainly adding in whatever we've got from the garden, which at the moment really fresh is just kale, so the greens, but that's absolutely fine. So I'm really pleased with that. So with all that said, for me that diet sounds quite balanced. It'll all be served with veggies and there'll be fruit available, etc. And it's hopefully going to help with my weight problem, that it's a problem for me, not necessarily for anybody else. Because the way I'm seeing it at the moment, the excess weight that I'm carrying is a symptom. It's not a cause. It's a symptom of what I'm putting in, my health, my food and nutrition, my diet, whatever you want to call it. And that takes me back to the conversation where, should I be reducing my grocery spends so drastically that I'm struggling to get certain things that I want to help with a health and a diet perspective? Now, that also goes full circle, because the example that I was using when I was thinking about this the other day to myself was blueberries. Blueberries are so good for you. I love them just to eat with porridge, as a snack, with yogurt, whatever it might be. And they freeze really well as well. And then I thought, hang on, I'm talking about living on a small holding, having a small holding diet, seasonal eating, yet I still want blueberries all year round that I haven't grown myself. So this year I really want to concentrate on growing as much of our own fruit as I can, so that we can use it all year round, which is what I was alluding to with the rhubarb, and foraging for as much as you can, because apparently blackberries, which I was talking to somebody in the comments about, are just as good for you as blueberries. And obviously they're available in abundance for free for the price of a little bit of foraging through probably September onwards here. And you can just go and get them, and it's a fun couple of hours out as well. It freeze perfectly. And, you know, why would I pay an absolute fortune for blueberries? Because they really are a fortune, and rightly so, I guess, with, you know, one thing and another, when I can get them for free. So that's the plan for this year. Once the rhubarb starts coming through, I'm going to preserve it in multiple different ways. You can even dehydrate it for rhubarb tea, which is just delicious. And then you just literally pour boiling water over it and sweeteners or any other flavours that you want. That's a really nice option. And just start taking it really simple, you know, having a few key ingredients, such as the rhubarb or the blackberries or whatever it might be that we can grow here, and seeing what I can do to it to have it in multiple different ways, but it's just the one ingredient. So we'll see how that pans out as we go through the year. But yeah, that's the other thing, that I've gone from trying to just have £25 a week to saying I'm not limiting myself because it's my health and, you know, the health of my family, and nothing's more important than that, so it'll cost what it costs, to why are you even thinking about spending that much when you should be doing it yourself? It's not the time of year when I can go out and forage and harvest for all those kinds of things. So there will be an element coming up of prices going up, and has been for the last couple of weeks, of what we're spending on the groceries, and I'm fine with that. So I am still doing a challenge from a cost of living point of view to keep costs down as much as possible. You know, we haven't got money just to go throwing about, but equally I am going to spend what I need to spend to ensure that we meet our health obligation as human beings and as parents. And I've just spent a lot of time thinking about that. So if you've got this far, I really appreciate that. And I'm really interested on your comments. And, you know, there's only so much I can do from a working full time, running this place, and with what we've got ourselves. I don't want to be going out and spending a fortune to save a couple of quid. That's not going to be how it works. But yeah, just really I think things are starting to take a bit of a turn, and I want to be ahead of the game in that I want to be as self-reliant as we can be here, and where we can share that with other people as well, whether it's through, you know, gifting, through sales, through jobs that we can do for other people and they can do for us, whatever it might be. And where it's needed, just helping people out, because at the end of the day, you know, we've all just got to be good human beings where we can. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Bit of a ramble. I've been chatting to my bestie about this, Lou, so I know you'll be watching, Lou, so thank you for putting up with me. But thank you to everybody else for putting up with me as well. I'm going to be having more thoughts around what I'm terming as the smallholders diet. I mentioned that on Instagram, and then I quickly put, it's not just for smallholders, because it's really not. It is more back to seasonal eating and seasonal preserving as well, which kind of takes away the whole point of seasonal eating, because then you can eat out of season. But I think that's absolutely fine as well. So let me know your thoughts. Now, I just do want to finish on one thing before I disappear. I'm aware that not everybody can do this. Not everybody will have the money to be able to do what they want, or the facilities to be able to do what they want. And, you know, it's not a one size fits all. So I'm totally on board with that, and I get that. I can only talk about my experiences because that's the only thing that I know, what myself and my family have been through. I think it's going to take a little while for the world to settle back down again, and I want to make sure that we are buckled up for the ride that's coming, or that we're already on, who knows. I do think it's going to take a little bit of time, and I'm aware that that's putting a lot more pressure on people, including myself, you know, from a jobs point of view, from a home point of view, that we've not experienced for a little while, or if at all, if ever. So there's lots of other things that I think having the smallholders diet will help out with, because at the end of the day, feeding, from what I understand, as you're feeding your gut and you're feeding your mental health at the same time, it's like your second brain. So if there's anything that you're interested in, or anything that you can offer around that, then please share, that I can learn from it, that other people can learn from it, and let's just keep the conversation going, because I think it's a little bit of a bumpy road at the moment, and I am fully aware of that, but I want it to be as positive as we can make it, basically. And just before I go, there is one more topic that I'm not going to get into here, but I do think that from a health point of view, this kind of diet and seasonal eating, and what might come from all of these discussions and the changes that are kind of being forced upon us in a way, is that it will be better for people's health. Again, I can only speak for myself, and I know that I'm of a certain age where there's certain things changing and happening, and, you know, I want to talk, there's Claire from Claire's Journey, or just Claire Grace, she's got 2 channels on Instagram, is doing a really important piece on perimenopause at the moment, and I just think that it'll be so helpful from a diet perspective, that I really want to support that as well. So I'm going to be continuing to look into that myself. But I do believe that the supermarket foods, I think, could potentially, because in some people, a lot more digestive discomfort. I'm not going to say making the meal, but I do think that everything that happens with the supermarket foods could be causing people a few internal issues as well. So a lot more cooking from scratch, even if you're not growing it yourself, just working on the whole food aspect of things, cooking from scratch, and going back to basics in that respect. I'm hoping to do a bit more on that. So again, I hope that doesn't come across as preaching. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking, what I'm going to do. So anyway, lovely to chat with you. Sorry it's a little bit of a different style of video, and probably no structure and all over the place, but sometimes that's life, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to disappear. Catch you later.